Hello everybody, hello, welcome back to the Dugout Football channel where I've basically decided to do this video as obviously the Premier League fixtures are announced on Friday, and I've basically decided to do one player to watch for when the Premier League returns. Now obviously I did something similar when obviously Project Restart happened at the very sort of start of June. So that was one video, but this is basically one player to watch out for when the Premier League returns. Now some are quite obvious. Some I've kind of not really done as obvious as you would think. So, and obviously get in the live chat. Basically get your guesses in there. But obviously from the thumbnail you can obviously see that there's obviously going to be 4 players on that thumbnail that I've obviously mentioned. So starting things off with Arsenal. Now I've gone for a player who I think has to be said had a very, very good end to the season, and he's got the number 7 shirt this season for Arsenal, so big shoulders, big number to have. And that is Bukayo Saka. Now, Bukayo Saka has had a very good season last season. There's no doubt about it. So in the Premier League, he has made 26 appearances. He's got 1 Premier League goal and 5 assists. But you have to say it was a very good season for Bukayo Saka, and I think this guy will go on to greater things this season. I think he's going to be a mainstay in that Arsenal team. You can see what's happening with Kieran Tierney down the left. You can see what's happening with Bukayo Saka as well. And I think with Bukayo Saka in there, I think you'll probably see more assists. And I think if he can stay fit, if he can keep firing where Arsenal have been, then I think he will have a good season. So my player to watch for Arsenal is Bukayo Saka. Aston Villa. Now, I could have picked Jack Grealish, but obviously with transfer speculation surrounding his future, I didn't want to go for him because I don't know where he's going to end up. So, the man I picked is a player who really had a good end to the season, and his goals really kept Aston Villa in the Premier League. It is the Egyptian winger Trezeguet. Now, he's had 34 appearances, 6 goals and 1 assist from last season. That's not a bad return. That is not a bad return. I know that obviously he did take time to settle in, but it has to be said he was a very, very good player for Aston Villa at the end of the season. Obviously, goals against Arsenal, goals against Crystal Palace. Obviously, they were the most important ones to keep them in the Premier League as well. So I think Trezeguet will be a big player for Aston Villa next season. I think he has to stay fit. I think obviously we all see what problems Aston Villa have got, and that is obviously the defence. But we have to say that Aston Villa, Trezeguet, had a very good end to the season. So my player to watch for Aston Villa is Trezeguet. Brighton and Hove Albion. Now I could have picked Neil Maupay, which would probably be the obvious choice. Could have picked Adam Lallana because obviously he has signed for Brighton. But the player I've gone for is a tricky wee winger, and that is Leandro Trossard. Now, a very good first season, you have to say, for Leandro Trossard, including that wonder goal against Liverpool, where the ball comes to him and he just hits it, volley into the top corner, which was a fantastic goal as well. So Leandro Trossard, 31 appearances, 5 goals and 3 assists, which is not a bad return as well, you have to say. I think Brighton are going to have a good season next season. Look at the players that they've signed: Veltman, Lallana. There's even obviously there is talk of Lewis Duncan, Shane Duffy leaving Brighton, but can you see them sort of strengthen there? I think you can. I think Graham Potter's done a very, very good job there. I do think they will be one of the ones who will probably try to obviously stay for relegation, but I think they'll be fine. Not knowing that they're still in the Premier League, knowing that they've got a good home record as well, and obviously I think Leandro Trossard is a very, very tricky wee winger. I think he's going to be a very, very good player for Brighton this season. So my player to watch for is Leandro Trossard, and a good wee Belgian winger for sure. Burnley. Now, Who do you think I've picked? Yeah, I could have picked James Tarkowski. I could have picked Chris Wood. Could have picked Ashley Barnes. I could have picked Jay Rodriguez. Could have picked Nick Pope. He's had a very, very good season. But no, the player who I have picked, and I have to say, he's a danger from set pieces. His set pieces are really, really dangerous. We've obviously seen that this season, last season. Ashley Westwood. Now, this guy has been a mainstay in the Premier League for Burnley, and it has to be said, it's quite shocking that he is 35 years old. I did not think that when I was basically checking all the sort of the stats and figures from last season. Ashley Westwood is 35 and still looks a fantastic player, you have to say. Ashley Westwood has been fantastic for Burnley. Last season, obviously, he has had 35 appearances and 2 goals. His Premier League record, though, 221 appearances, which is very, very good for Ashley Westwood. Obviously, he was at Aston Villa as well. So that was very good. 9 goals, 25 assists. So he's a very, very good player. And I think he'll be a very, very important player in that Burnley midfield, because you have to say that Burnley... finishing 10th last season, Sean Dyche has had a very good season last season. So it'll be interesting to see where they can pick up, I think. Pick up on where they left off. And I think, looking at it, I think Burnley are always going to be tricky to beat. But the big thing, I think, is keeping Sean Dyche. Because I think if you let go of Sean Dyche, then I think you probably plummet down the table. But if he can still stay at Burnley, I think Burnley will have a good season. So we'll see what happens. But obviously that's for another video for Premier League table predictions. So we'll see where I have put them. But Burnley, Ashley Westwood, a very, very good mainstay in that midfield. Mad to think he's 35 though. Absolutely mad to think he is 35 years of age. Chelsea now. Obviously, the main ones you could have picked: Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, N'Golo Kante. But I've gone for a player who I have to say had a very good first season in the Premier League, and that is basically how he's named Captain America, Christian Pulisic. Now, Christian Pulisic had a fantastic end to the season. Bit of an injury hit ravaged season, but you have to say, we have seen what he can produce. Hat-trick at Burnley, if you remember. Obviously scored the goal that obviously put Man City to the sword against Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. And to be honest, he's just a really, really good player. Someone I wanted at Liverpool, there's no doubt about it. But you have to say, Christian Pulisic has had a very good first season. Yes, he may miss the start of the season. There is conflicting rumours that he could miss the start of the season because he did get injured before the end of the season. But I have to say, from watching him, he has been a very, very good player. So 25 appearances, 9 goals, 4 assists. That's not a bad return for Captain America, and I think he will go into very good things. Look at that Chelsea team. You could probably see Pulisic in that front three for Chelsea. I think, looking at it, I think Chelsea will definitely have a good attempt to challenge the top two in Liverpool, Manchester City as well. But you have to say, Pulisic, very, very good first season. He will only go on and get better. He is a very, very good player. So Christian Pulisic is my player to watch for Chelsea. Crystal Palace, no. I could have picked Wilfried Zaha, but there is conflicting rumours that Monaco, PSG and Borussia Dortmund want to sign Wilfried Zaha. Now, if Wilfried Zaha does go, then that is big news to everybody, because obviously he has been Crystal Palace's main man. However, last season he had a very poor season. So the player I've picked is a player who I think is going to come on leaps and bounds this season, and I think he might be a fantasy football favourite, is Jordan Ayew. Now, Jordan Ayew, let's talk about his career. Obviously, he's been at Villa, he's been at Swansea, but his best days, I think, have been at Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace, he scored 9 goals last season, and it has to be said, He was very, very good last season. Basically, the main man for Palace, because I know Palace didn't score many goals, but he got 9 goals last season, which was very, very good. His overall Premier League stats, obviously, he has 137 appearances, 25 goals, 9 assists, and basically last season, yeah, 37 appearances, 9 goals. So it was a very, very good return for a Palace side who struggled to score goals. So if he can continue what he's up to, continue what he's doing, I think he'll be a good player next season for Palace. So I'm going for Jordan Ayew for Crystal Palace. Everton, yeah, misfiring Everton, it has to be said. I have gone for a player who ended the season really, really well. Basically started the season very, very well. And that is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, I could have picked Richarlison because obviously Richarlison had a good end to the season as well. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a man who has been very, very good for Everton. Main stats you can see from this 36 appearances last season, 13 goals. It was a very good return for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And it has to be said, I think he will be the main man for Everton again. I think he'll be the main striker. Moise Keane obviously hasn't worked. I think there's rumours that I think they're trying to get him a move back to Italy, which would be a shame, but it just hasn't worked for him. But in Calvert-Lewin, you've got a really good player, a good sort of vocal point up front, and the boy can play. He can definitely score goals. He score headed goals, and he's got a good strike from his. He's a good player to have at Everton. I think he's going to be a very, very interesting player. I think he might be another one that could be a fantasy football favourite as well. Gets the goals for Everton. I think they'll be firing up the table. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'm gonna give you that one because I think he's been very, very good. But yeah, 114 appearances, 24 goals, 9 assists in the Premier League. So it's a very, very good return for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Fulham, welcome back, Fulham, it has to be said. Welcome back to Fulham, welcome back to Scott Parker as well. Now, who have I picked? Well, I think you'll probably guess who this is. It's the main man up front, Alexander Mitrovic. Now, Mitrovic fired Fulham to the Premier League last season, and it has to be said, he was a very, very good player last season. So 41 appearances last season in the Championship, 26 goals. That is a very, very good return. But can he do it in the Premier League? We did see glimpses of it when Fulham were back last in the Premier League. But it'll be interesting to see how well he does, because the Premier League is a tricky league. But Mitrovic is a very, very good player. He's only 25 as well. That's quite shocking as well. You would think that Mitrovic was probably older than that. But he is 25 years old. So that is one thing you can say for sure. And I think, looking at it, Mitrovic will be the vocal point in Fulham's attack. And, if he can score the goals to get Fulham staying up, then I think he might get a move next summer. I think he is due a big move next summer, to be honest. I think he has been in the with Fulham since obviously they were in the Premier League, and obviously took them. Everyone thought he was going to leave for the leave Fulham in the Championship, but he's stuck around, and I think he's going to be a very good player. And if he can score the goals that keeps Fulham up, then Fulham fans will be happy. So Fulham, I've gone for Alexander Mitrovic. And another welcome back to Leeds United after 16/17 years away from the top flight. Leeds United are back, and we've got Marcelo Bielsa as well. So the player to watch is a player who has been in the Premier League quite a lot, actually. And it's Pablo Hernandez, 35 years of age, same age as obviously Ashley Westwood. But looking at this, obviously last season he got 36 appearances, 9 goals. But his overall Premier League stats are obviously 57 appearances, 5 goals, 13 assists. So he'll be wanting to add to that in the Premier League. But he was the player that got the goal that got Leeds to the top flight. It was the goal at Swansea as well, funnily enough. Yeah, his old club Swansea was the goal that got them up, and it was a very, very good finish as well. So Pablo Hernandez will be a very good player to watch out for, and I think it'd be interesting to see if he will actually play many games, because obviously being 35, I think he will play. But looking at that Leeds team, obviously you've got Alioski, you've obviously got Cleich as well. I could have picked Patrick Bamford, but to be honest, I think Pablo Hernandez will be that mainstay in that Leeds team. I think he'll have a good season. So Pablo Hernandez is the one to watch out for in Leeds United. Leicester City, well, the obviously one I could probably pick would be Jamie Vardy. I could pick Kaglash Seyuncu. I could pick James Maddison. But I'm going for a player who I think had a bit of a mixed end to the season last season. Has been called inconsistent by his fans. It is Harvey Barnes. Now, Harvey Barnes, that has to be said, had a good season last season. 36 appearances, 6 goals. The one thing you can say, though, he does need to get better on his final ball. That's one thing you can say. But I have to say, I think Harvey Barnes had a good season last season. But looking at his stats, obviously 55 appearances in the Premier League, 7 goals and 10 assists. So if he can add to that, I think it'd be good. He's been linked to a couple of clubs actually, Harvey Barnes, but I think he'll stick around at Everton. Leicester City. And I think, looking at it, I think Harvey Barnes will definitely be a good player for Leicester City. So looking forward to seeing him. And, if he can continue where he's left off, he will get more goals this season. But yeah, he needs to work on that final ball. But good player. Still only young as well, Harvey Barnes. He will be a good player. Liverpool. Now, I could pick Mane. I could pick Firmino. I could pick Salah. I could pick Van Dijk, I could pick Robertson, I could pick Trent Alexander-Arnold. But I've gone for a player who I consider the best Liverpool player in lockdown, Naby Keita. Now, Naby Keita had a good end to the season, scoring a couple of goals as well, scoring that absolute beauty against Chelsea, the one that went off the underside of the bar. Naby Keita has to stay fit, but I will say this now, I think Naby Keita will start more games this season. I think we've seen what he can produce. I think also the fact that, obviously, I think 2 of the Liverpool midfield roles are sewn up. I think that's Fabinho and I think that's Jordan Henderson. And then it's a case of Gini Wijnaldum or Naby Keita. So I think that is going to be the case for him. So Naby Keita, 43 appearances, 4 goals, 4 assists. Last season, 18 appearances, 2 goals. But you have to say that if he can stay fit, if he can add more goals, then we will see a very good midfielder. The midfielder that Liverpool bought from RB Leipzig, and I think he's going to be a very, very good midfielder for Liverpool. So I have picked Naby Keita. I don't think anyone expected that, did they? But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think he's a very, very good player looking ahead. So I'm going for Naby Keita. Manchester City, well, there's really only one player to really look out for, and that is Kevin De Bruyne. Player of the Year, well deserved. I have to say, Kevin De Bruyne was the best player in the Premier League last season. 20 assists. That equals Thierry Henry's record for Arsenal. So that was a very, very good season. But Kevin De Bruyne was absolutely fantastic last season. I've never seen someone who can cross a ball like him. I thought Trent Alexander-Arnold's crosses were very, very good, but my goodness. Kevin De Bruyne has been a very, very good player for Manchester City. So his stats, overall, 155 appearances, 36 goals, 66 assists. And looking at his appearances last season, 35 appearances, 13 goals, 20 assists. That is not a bad return at all. And I have to say, he deserved the Player of the Year. I don't get why there were Liverpool fans saying that Jordan Henderson deserved the Player of the Year. For me, Kevin De Bruyne was the best player in the Premier League. So he deserved Player of the Year. There is no doubt about it. So be interesting to see if he can continue where he's left off. But I think Kevin De Bruyne will have a very good season again this season. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. But he could well beat it. He's one of those players who loves assists, loves to score a goal as well. So going to be a big important player for City next season, Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester United. Well, obviously, I think there's only one really. Bruno Fernandes. It has to be said. Bruno Fernandes has come in, lit up the Premier League. I'm not going to say anything else, but Bruno Fernandes has changed Manchester United's fortunes. When he came in, Manchester United had lost 2-0 to Burnley. When he came in, they've been unbeaten in the Premier League. Yes, obviously, before obviously the Chelsea game, he hadn't lost in the Man United's shirt. But, this is the thing with Bruno Fernandes. He's now got a full pre-season now to look ahead to. He's got a full season now to see what he can do. And do you know what? He could be a very important player for Manchester United this season. He definitely will be. Yes, everyone will say, "Oh, Bruno Fernandes," but everyone will say this now. He has been a very good player for Manchester United. Stats, obviously, 14 appearances, 8 goals, 7 assists, which was a very, very good return, considering he only came in January as well. So, very, very good from Bruno Fernandes. I think he will be a very, very good player for Manchester United. And if he can continue what he's doing, then you'll probably see him in the double figures for goals, maybe assists as well. So, Bruno Fernandes, a very, very good signing for Manchester United. And I think he will be the mainstay in that midfield. Newcastle United. I've gone for a player who I think has really settled in now at St James's Park, and that is Miguel Almiron. Now, Miguel Almiron took a bit of time to get going, it has to be said, but I have to say, from watching him, he has been very, very good. Last season, obviously 36 appearances, 4 goals, which is very, very good. And obviously, one of those goals was came quite at the end of the season. He started scoring again, which was nice to see. But that's what he just needed. That's what he needed was just to settle in, get some game time, and then get the goals. Because there were a few games last season where he was snatching at chances, but it's good to see him scoring now. It is good to see him scoring. So if he can be a very, very pivotal playmaker in that Newcastle team, then they might score more goals. I think Almiron is a very, very good player. So we're going to see the best of him, I think. So Almiron is my go-to for Newcastle. So we'll see what happens. Sheffield United. Now, I've gone for a player who made a very, very good amount of appearances last season for Sheffield United. And those two fullbacks for Sheffield United were very, very good. I picked one of them. I picked the Irishman, Enda Stevens. Now, Enda Stevens had a very good season last season. Played every single game for Sheffield United in their return to the season, finishing 9th. And it has to be said, they were a very, very good team last season to watch. But obviously, 45 appearances, 2 goals, 4 assists is his overall. But 38 games last season, so very, very well done to Enda Stevens. And Sheffield United, obviously, everyone was saying this second season syndrome, is it a thing? Well, we'll see what happens. But Enda Stevens will be a mainstay in that left back role for Sheffield United. And I'm looking forward to seeing him, develop as a player again. I think he's been very, very good as well. So looking at that, I think he'll be a very, very good player going forward for Sheffield United. So Enda Stevens, continue what you're doing. You were very, very good last season. Continue this season. I'll look forward to seeing you in action. Hampton. I've picked a player who I think had a good end to the season. Couldn't hit a barn door to start with as well. I have gone for Che Adams. Now, Che Adams scored a fantastic goal for against Manchester City. And when he came into the Premier League, just couldn't hit a barn door. But it has to be said, 30 appearances, 4 goals last season, 2 assists, a good return for Che Adams. But you want to get on to better things. With Danny Ings scoring the goals as well, I think he'll be very, very good. So Che Adams is my one to pick for Southampton. I think him and Danny Ings will be very, very pivotal to definitely get going for sure. Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I've picked a player who I think will go on to big and better things next season, and that is Steven Bergwijn, the Dutch winger. Now, Steven Bergwijn came in January, basically scored in his debut against Manchester City, if you remember rightly as well. Very, very good player. 14 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist. He will only get better. He will only get better. I think looking at that Spurs team, you know, they got some good firepower up there. Lucas Moura, Son, you've got Bergwijn, Dele Alli, if you want to include him as a attacking midfielder, and obviously Harry Kane, the main man as well. So Steven Bergwijn will have a good season, and obviously it is Euros season in next June, so that's something to watch out for as well. But Steven Bergwijn, you've been a very, very good signing for Spurs, and I think you'll get better as well. So Steven Bergwijn is my player to watch for Tottenham Hotspur. West Bromwich Albion, welcome back to the Premier League. Welcome back. My player to watch out for is Matt Phillips, Scottish international. Has to be said that when he was in the Premier League previously, he didn't really live up to his name, I thought. So chance to get back to what he's good at doing, and that is scoring goals. Last season, 41 appearances in the Championship, 8 goals, very, very good from him. His overall 109 appearances, 10 goals, 22 assists, so he'll want to add to that. If everyone remembers his QPR goal against Crystal Palace as well, we saw what he can do. So Matt Phillips has to be better this season. I think he will. I think he's going to be a good player. I think he'll be a mainstay in that West Brom team. Looking forward to seeing him in action. So Matt Phillips is my player to pick out for West Brom. West Ham. Now, gone for a player who has pretty much was the main vocal point up front. It could have been Sebastian Haller, but it wasn't. It was Mikel Antonio. Now, looking at this, 24 appearances, which wasn't too bad. 10 goals. Mikel Antonio scored 4 against Norwich, if you remember rightly. So that was good to see. It'll be interesting to see how well we can do, because looking at it, it's going to be very, very interesting for sure. And also looking at it, West Ham definitely need to improve from their 16th place finish last season. But Mikel Antonio was the mainstay in that West Ham attack. 10 goals, very, very good return for a player. And 4 goals against Norwich City, which was very, very good as well. But yeah, I think if West Ham are to do well, then they're going to have to rely on Mikel Antonio scoring the goals as well. Haller, will he have a better season? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But Mikel Antonio, for me, is the mainstay in that West Ham forward line. So going to say that for sure. And finally, we have come to Wolves. Now, could have picked the obvious one. I could have picked Raul Jimenez. I could have picked Adama Traore. But I picked a player who, has to be said, started the season very well, ended the season very well. And that is number 7, Pedro Neto. Now, Pedro Neto has been a very good signing for Wolves. 21 appearances, 3 goals, 3 assists. Very, very good from Pedro Neto. We all remember his one at West Ham, which was a very good cross from Adama Traore. Who else? Who else makes good crosses? And he just volleyed that into the top corner. So very, very good. I think he's going to be a very important player next season. I think looking at that forward line, obviously if Adama Traore does go, then I think Neto will probably be a mainstay in that Wolves team. Because obviously they've got Jota, obviously they've got Jimenez. But yeah, I think if Adama Traore does move on, I think Neto will be a very, very important player for Wolves. So that is it. That is my one player to watch for from every Premier League club when the Premier League returns. Done and dusted. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my choices? Do you disagree? Well, obviously, let me know in the live chat, and obviously let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, the Premier League will be returning very, very soon. 12th of September is when the Premier League returns. Friday is when the fixtures are announced, and I will give you all the fixtures when they come out. So looking forward to that as well. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you are new around here, then please hit that subscribe button. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Smash the like on this video. We are going towards 500 subscribers now. 418 at the moment, so it'd be good to get 500. But I thank you everyone for watching, and yeah, more Premier League content coming very, very soon as well. And yeah, I know I've not been doing much Premier League content lately, but I will definitely bring out more Premier League content very, very soon. But until then, it is goodbye from me, and I will speak to you all in the next one. And yeah, obviously let me know what you think about my choices as well. Some good players to watch out for in that list, I think. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.